Hey, Steelers Nation. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing matchups this NFL season as the Pittsburgh Steelers prepare to face a high-powered Buffalo Bills team. This is the kind of game that defines playoff-caliber squads, and the stakes could not be higher for both teams. Looking at the Bills, Josh Allen has been on an absolute tear lately, putting up staggering numbers that leave defenders scrambling and analysts stunned. It is hard to overstate just how impressive his performances have been, especially when you compare them to past outings against top-tier teams. Allen's combination of strength, agility, and an arm that can seemingly launch the ball anywhere makes him one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league, and he doesn't hesitate to put defenders on their heels with his running ability. Alongside him, James Cook offers a completely different style of threat. Where Allen bulldozes his way through defenders, Cook moves with a shiftiness and elusiveness that creates mismatches all over the field. Together, they form a dual threat that challenges any defense, making this matchup particularly compelling as it tests the Steelers' ability to contain both power and finesse in the backfield. The Steelers, of course, have faced tough running games before and shown flashes of brilliance in limiting ground attacks. There have been games where they successfully stifled some of the league's most formidable backs. But history shows us that consistency is key. This upcoming clash is no exception. Pittsburgh defensive front will have to hold strong at the line of scrimmage, especially with key players sidelined. The absence of Derek Harmon is significant, leaving gaps that the Bills' offensive line will undoubtedly try to exploit. Additionally, Dan Quayle's suspension has put extra pressure on the interior defense, requiring the Steelers to find creative ways to disrupt the running game without overcommitting and leaving themselves vulnerable. It is a delicate balancing act. Apply enough pressure to rattle Allen, but do not overpursue, as one misstep could see him turning a collapsing pocket into a massive gain. This chess match in the trenches is going to define much of the outcome, and Steelers fans should be prepared for a game where the battle up front is just as critical as the big plays downfield. One of the key strategies for Pittsburgh will be how they handle Buffalo's passing threats. While the Bills' receiving core may not yet have hit the explosive heights of prior seasons, Allen has always been able to make big plays regardless of the personnel around him. This means the Steelers' secondary cannot simply play conservatively and hope for the best. Man coverage will be essential in certain situations, allowing the defensive backs to rely on their athleticism while the pass rush comes from the front four. It is not about sending every defender after Allen on every down, but rather smartly timing pressure, creating confusion, and forcing the quarterback into uncomfortable situations. Historical examples, like the Texans' success in pressuring Allen on third downs, show how effective disciplined pressure can be without overextending. If the Steelers can replicate that approach, they may be able to disrupt the rhythm of one of the most dangerous offensive threats in the league. Beyond the strategy, there's an intriguing narrative in how both teams have handled expectations this season. The Bills, with Allen leading a high-octane offense, were widely projected to dominate, while the Steelers, with a revamped defensive approach, have shown surprising scoring ability despite defensive challenges. Both teams have moments where they look unstoppable, yet also moments of inconsistency that remind us how difficult it is to maintain elite performance week after week. For the Steelers, the offense has stepped up in ways fans may not have anticipated at the start of the season, putting points on the board and keeping games competitive. Defensively, however, they have not yet reached the top-tier standards many expected, ranking outside the top 10, which adds pressure in a game like this. The key will be whether they can rise to the occasion, particularly in critical third-down situations, where forcing Allen into risky decisions could be the difference between a close contest and a runaway. Another element worth watching is how Pittsburgh's approach to the Bills' running game impacts the entire defensive scheme. Allen's ability to extend plays with his legs, combined with Cook's agility, requires constant communication and awareness in the defensive backfield and at linebacker. The Steelers cannot afford breakdowns, because even a single misstep could turn into a long touchdown run. It is as much a mental challenge as a physical one, testing the preparation, discipline, and in-game adjustments of the entire defense. Each snap will carry weight, and both coordinators will need to adapt quickly to what unfolds on the field. This is where experience matters, and Pittsburgh's veterans must set the tone for the younger players to maintain focus and execution under pressure. In terms of broader implications, this game offers a glimpse into how playoff scenarios might unfold. Both teams are jockeying for position within the AFC, and while records may suggest a close race, the level of play and the intensity seen on the field will ultimately determine which team is better prepared for the postseason. Steelers fans will want to see their team execute with precision in both phases of the game, running, passing, and defending, because Buffalo presents one of the most balanced and potent offenses in the league. A few key plays could define momentum swings and the ability to capitalize on opportunities, whether through turnovers, sacks, or critical stops, will be paramount. The challenge for Pittsburgh is further complicated by the unique skill sets of Allen and Cook. Allen's penchant for using his body as a battering ram, combined with Cook's agility, creates a dynamic the Steelers rarely encounter with such extremes in a single game. Preparing for that diversity requires adaptability, not only in individual matchups, but also in how the defensive line coordinates with linebackers and safeties. The alignment, timing, and gap responsibilities must be flawless, because any hesitation or miscommunication can be devastating. Historically, teams that fail to manage this dual-threat dynamic have often seen massive gains exploited against them, and the Steelers are acutely aware of that fact. They must remain disciplined, patient, and opportunistic, knowing that every successful stop builds momentum and confidence. In the passing game, the absence of a few elite receiving threats changes how Pittsburgh can approach coverage. While the Bills still boast talented players capable of making big catches, the need for strict doubling or excessive focus on a single target is reduced, allowing the Steelers to deploy more balanced coverage schemes. Here, the emphasis will be on disrupting rhythm, applying calculated pressure, and forcing Allen to rely on less experienced options. The goal is simple yet complex in execution: prevent explosive plays while maintaining structural integrity across the defense. Any breakdown could lead to immediate consequences, and Allen's history of capitalizing on small openings only adds to the tension. Lastly, the statistical side of the matchup adds an interesting layer. Allen has experienced a higher rate of sacks on third down this season than at any point in his career, an increase that highlights the vulnerability the Steelers could exploit. Capitalizing on this trend requires precise execution from the defensive front, a relentless pass rush, and coordinated play from linebackers and secondary alike. Simultaneously, Pittsburgh's offense will need to maintain balance and efficiency, knowing that sustaining drives can relieve pressure on the defense while keeping Buffalo's offense off the field. This interplay between attack and containment will likely define not only this game, but perceptions of each team as serious playoff contenders moving forward. Picking up where we left off, the Steelers' upcoming showdown with the Bills isn't just about raw talent. It's about execution, timing, and seizing critical moments when they present themselves. Pittsburgh has shown flashes of brilliance this season on both sides of the ball, and this game will be the ultimate test of whether they can consistently rise to a higher level of performance. One thing that stands out about this matchup is the need for the Steelers to control the tempo. With Josh Allen and James Cook capable of creating explosive plays at any moment, dictating the pace of the game becomes essential. Long, sustained drives by the offense not only keep the ball out of Allen's hands, but also wear down Buffalo's defensive front, creating more favorable situations later in the game. Time of possession isn't just a statistic here. It's a strategic weapon. On the defensive side, Pittsburgh will need to emphasize discipline over sheer aggression. Allen is the kind of quarterback who can punish overcommitment in a heartbeat. Even when pressured, he has the vision, strength, and speed to turn what looks like a sure sack into a double-digit gain. That's why every lineman, linebacker, and defensive back must execute their assignments perfectly, especially when it comes to gap control and containing the edges. Cook's versatility as a runner also adds complexity, as he can bounce outside or cut back against the grain in ways that exploit minor lapses in defensive discipline. Steelers fans know this is not a game where you can rely on luck. Every defensive alignment, every reaction, and every tackle matters. The Bills' offensive line, while not invincible, presents challenges in its own right. Their unit has shown moments of cohesion that allow Allen to operate with confidence, but inconsistencies remain. Pittsburgh's defensive front can exploit these weaknesses with well-timed stunts, interior pressure, and a mix of aggressive and patient techniques. It's not about brute force alone. It's about reading the line, anticipating schemes, and adjusting on the fly. The ability to generate pressure without sacrificing positional integrity will be a major factor in whether the Steelers could disrupt the rhythm of a high-powered offense. If they can force Allen into uncomfortable positions early and consistently, the Steelers will not only create turnover opportunities, but also set the tone for the entire game. Turning to the passing game, Pittsburgh's receivers and offensive line must ensure that drives stay alive. The Bills' defense, while explosive, has shown vulnerabilities under sustained pressure, particularly in critical third-down situations. Converting third downs and maintaining offensive balance will force Buffalo to stay honest, preventing them from stacking the box against the run. This dual-threat approach by the Steelers could be decisive, as keeping both the run and pass viable makes it far more difficult for the Bills to anticipate plays or overcommit personnel. Every yard gained will chip away at momentum, and every sustained possession increases the chance of wearing down a team capable of creating big plays in a heartbeat. Historically, these types of matchups are defined not just by talent, but by adjustments and in-game intelligence. The Steelers' coaching staff has had to navigate injuries, suspensions, and inconsistent performances throughout the season, and the ability to adapt will be under the microscope. Mike Tomlin has emphasized situational awareness and the importance of playoff-caliber thinking in each game, and this contest against Buffalo is no different. From third-and-long situations to short-yardage confrontations, every decision, whether to blitz, drop back, or rotate personnel, carries weight. Both teams are highly skilled, but football often comes down to small edges, and those edges are measured in preparation, communication, and execution. The dynamic between Allen and Cook also influences defensive schemes in ways that go beyond traditional metrics. Allen's willingness to extend plays with his legs and Cook's ability to exploit creases force defenders to stay disciplined without losing sight of the quarterback's mobility. It's a constant balancing act. Defenders must maintain coverage, guard against misdirection, and anticipate explosive potential, all while remaining ready to react instantaneously to a shift in momentum. For the Steelers, this represents not just a physical challenge, but a mental one, as defenders must think 2 steps ahead without compromising the integrity of the defense. Any lapse, even momentarily, could result in a huge gain and swing momentum dramatically in favor of the Bills. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Steelers' locker room has been buzzing with whispers that could shake the league to its core. Sources close to the organization suggest that the team is about to make what insiders are calling the most important decision of the year. While no official announcement has been made, the chatter around Pittsburgh hints at a seismic move. The Steelers are reportedly planning to bring in a player who will bolster their defense in a way fans have been craving for years. The details remain murky, but the excitement is palpable. The franchise, known for its storied history of defensive dominance, seems poised to recapture that ferocious edge that has often been the hallmark of their identity. Analysts and fans alike are speculating wildly about who could fill this role. Some whisper it's a veteran with a reputation for relentless tackling and playmaking, while others suggest a rising star whose presence alone could intimidate opposing offenses. What's clear is that the Steelers' front office is signaling a no-nonsense approach to this season. Observers note that the move could change the trajectory of their campaign entirely, providing the kind of defensive firepower that could turn close games into decisive victories. Rumors also hint that internal discussions have been intense, with the coaching staff pushing for a player who embodies toughness, versatility and leadership on the field. Fans have already started imagining how this signing could reshape the team's dynamic. Social media is alight with theories, mock lineups, and heated debates about potential targets. The energy is reminiscent of the days when the Steelers' defense struck fear into the hearts of quarterbacks across the league, a time when sacks, turnovers, and hard-hitting tackles defined their season. While nothing is official yet, the buzz is enough to suggest that the Steelers are ready to make a bold statement. If the rumors are true, the defense will no longer be just a supporting cast. It could become the defining force of the team's identity this season. As speculation grows, one thing is certain. Pittsburgh fans are holding their breath, waiting for the move that could turn a promising season into one that demands attention from the entire league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.